What's up guys, here MoxZ Gaming, your F2P player spokesperson. Heir of Light Eclipse is finally officially live. If you are looking for the best characters tier list and reroll guide, especially for beginners, this video will help you choose the right one. Recommend watching repeatedly. If you find this video is helpful, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe channel. Alright, let's dive right into today's topic. In today's video, the tier list only includes some characters, not all. These characters, in my opinion, are beginner friendly in the early game. Well, we're diving into the mysterious realm of B-tier characters. Firstly, Hearn, Class Warrior. Hearn's rage boosts his health, attack, and speed for a short time. He also damages nearby enemies, taking some damage himself. He slashes enemies twice with his claws and unleashes the lamp's energy to knock them back. Hearn's howl restores his health over time and reduces damage taken. Christine, Class Mage. Christine changes her stance, firing 4 shots at the enemy with the lowest DEF, targeting undamaged foes first. Her blockbuster turns into a basic attack, hitting the weakest enemy. She can aim at a nearby enemy to reduce their energy and gain some for herself. In addition, Christine's passive increases her SPD during battle. When she enters battle, her SPD gets a temporary boost. Midge, Class Tank. Midge slams the ground, taunts enemies, and reflects damage. She pounces on enemies, dealing damage and stunning them. Midge strikes enemies with her wings, causing stun. She gains shields at the start and after using her ultimate. Nua, Class Support, follows ally with highest CP, uses own energy to restore target's energy when they use an ultimate, creates a red bomb that explodes multiple times, stunning enemies, unfolds slime barrier from behind followed ally, dealing damage to enemies and reducing damage taken, reduces damage taken and restores HP to followed ally every 5 seconds. Hopkins, Class Ranger. Princess fires her revolver, damaging enemies in range multiple times. She swiftly approaches and damages the nearest enemy, gaining a protective shield. Her revolver attack hits enemies 4 times, with the final hit dealing max HP damage, restores HP after landing critical hits. Next, let's talk about A tier. Simone, Class Ranger. Simone quickly moves behind the farthest enemy, dealing high damage. She can nullify incoming damage and counterattack periodically. At the start of battle, she slashes the enemy in front, knocking them back and increasing their damage taken. If Simone takes a fatal hit, she becomes a Spectre, regaining full HP and gaining immunity, but losing max HP over time. If no allies are left, this effect lasts until the battle ends and can restore HP if it defeats an enemy. Belladonna's, Class Ranger. Belladonna detonates a poisonous orb in the air, damaging all enemies on the battlefield and potentially leaving them poisoned for a short duration. Her ultimate attack deals additional damage to poisoned enemies. She fires arrows coated with poison extracted from dark blood, damaging enemies in their path and leaving them poisoned. The poison also reduces the energy of affected enemies. Belladonna throws multiple shurikens, damaging and potentially stunning nearby enemies while applying poison. Poisoned enemies continuously take damage based on Belladonna's ATK and have their energy reduced. Caesar, Class Tank. While casting an ultimate, Caesar reduces damage taken and gains immunity to crowd control. When the casting ends, he deals damage to enemies in front and restores HP based on the damage taken. He delivers a strong blow to the enemy in front. Knocking them back and restoring HP. When entering battle, Caesar roars at the enemy with the lowest HP, dealing damage and causing the target to take a portion of the damage he receives for a duration. Heir, Class Mage. Heir summons the fairy sword to strike a group of enemies, dealing damage over time. The sword remains and continues to damage enemies. Heir attacks an enemy with her fairy's feather, leaving a mark. When an ally uses their ultimate, marked enemies take increased damage for a duration. At the start of battle, Heir identifies the nearest and farthest enemies, causing them to share damage received with other enemies. During battle, Heir grants a shield to 2 allies, prioritizing the front line. Scotty, Class Ranger. Scotty summons an ice crystal that damages and slows enemies. She also stabs an enemy with ice, reducing their SPD and knocking them down. Scotty can pull enemies towards her with a claw hand. Her passive boosts her ATK and has a chance to ignore enemy DEF. Kum, Class Ranger. Kum swiftly strikes from behind, then throws daggers. She attacks with a serpent. Passive, she evades damage periodically and counterattacks. Her evasion increases over time, and successful evasions restore energy. Mary, Class Support, summons light spirits to heal allies, charms enemies with a butterfly and sphere, making them fight for us. Mary gets enhanced healing, restores HP, and provides a shield to the lowest HP ally. Scar, Class Warrior. Scar launches a flurry of 7 punches, knocking the enemy back. He can't be controlled while using his ultimate. He can also target vital points, pulling the enemy toward him. Scar can remove crowd control effects and gains ATK as he damages foes. Gotrop, Class Tank. Gotrop knocks enemies around with his belly and butt, reducing damage taken. He can also move quickly to the closest enemy, dealing damage with his unique skills. Sinistra, Class Support. Sinistra restores a significant amount of HP to 2 front allies and can summon holograms to taunt enemies. Additionally, she enhances ally SPD and healing abilities. Bjorn, Class Warrior, unleashes a Wild Axe Flurry, dealing damage to nearby enemies 5 times, reduced damage beyond 2 hits, boosts ATK when no nearby enemies, or increases def when enemies are present. If Bjorn is on the team, grants lifesteal to all allies. Mist, Class Ranger, rapidly shoots arrows, reducing ACC of hit targets for a duration, 60% chance of loading an arrow on basic attack, dealing damage over time, 60% chance of loading a magic arrow on basic attack, splitting and dealing damage upon impact, gains ACC and crit rate bonuses when no enemies are nearby. Ella, Class Support, sets off fireworks, boosting allies' energy and ATK while potentially stunning enemies, launches an attack with Black Pony, reducing the enemy's ACC and stealing their energy, installs a potion launcher to heal low HP allies, blocks high damage attacks using energy. Halo, Class Mage, summons Purifying Light Pillars, damaging a random enemy 4 times, damage increases against the same target, fires a Meteor Ballestra, dealing AoE damage to enemies and reducing their ACC, passively boosts crit rate and reduces enemy def on crit hits, buff the ally with the highest ATK, increasing their ATK and crit rate. Ignis, Class Support, strikes the ground with Flammafinger, creating a fiery area that damages enemies, pulls the furthest enemy and deals area damage. Chains emerge to disrupt enemy ultimates. Allies recover energy over time. Sphinx, Class Support. Sphinx transforms her weapon, boosting her basic attack and unleashes powerful sword strikes. She can create a protective shield that restores her health when in danger. Additionally, she can heal the weakest allies during battle. Ophelia and Bastille, Class Support. In battle, Bastille and Ophelia share health and energy, with increased maximum health. Using Bastille's ultimate boosts ally speed, Bastille heals the weakest ally, while Ophelia restores energy to the healthiest ally. They have protective and defensive synergies. Lightless Halo, Class Ranger. Halo dashes to an enemy, dealing multiple hits with a powerful final blow. Entering battle, she delivers a devastating thrust, disrupting the target's energy. Her rapid strikes stun the final target. Her attack gets stronger with more surviving allies, and she takes less damage from enemies with each surviving ally. And then, S tier, Carmilla, Class Warrior, leaps and slashes, dealing big damage and knocking down more damage if the enemy is low on HP, swings scythe 4 times, landing a lethal blow. Pulls enemies towards her, immobilizing the one in front. Swings scythe 4 times again, landing a lethal blow, pulls enemies once more, immobilizing the one in front. Rem, Class Tank, swings explosive-laden hammer, dealing damage to nearby enemies 5 times. Immune to CC during skill, creates an explosion, increasing nearby enemies taking DMG for 12 seconds. ATK increases with missing HP. When taking a fatal hit, blocks all damage for a duration once per battle. Laura, Class Mage. Laura summons mists and bats to control the battlefield, dealing damage over time to all enemies. The mists deal consistent damage and restore HP when they disappear. She also summons bats from beneath the enemy's feet to deal damage and restore HP. Laura can unleash a swarm of fiery bats at an INT-type enemy, dealing damage and silencing them for a short duration. Her ATK increases as her HP remains higher, with additional benefits when her HP is full. Ramon, Class Tank. Ramon raises his shield to restore HP, boost ATK, and gain immunity to CC at the end of the battle. He can turn basic attacks into ranged AoE attacks with energy. He can also unleash lightning to silence enemies and throw a shield to protect allies, restoring their HP. During battle, Ramon gradually restores HP. Mildred, Class Ranger. Mildred smashes the ground with her staff, damaging all nearby enemies. She can fire lasers through a portal multiple times. At the beginning of battle, she boosts the speed of all allies. During battle, she reduces enemy def and increases their crit vulnerability when dealing damage. Mia, Class Support. Mia summons a dazzling flash to stun enemies for a duration. She can also call Margot to assist in battle, dealing damage and restoring HP to allies. Mia's ultimate ability opens a black hole to temporarily remove a high ATK enemy from the battlefield. During battle, Mia can remove debuffs and reposition herself to attack nearby enemies periodically. Zeta, Class Ranger. Zeta deals damage in a line, then moves to the weakest enemy for a powerful attack. She can split an enemy into 2 with her greatsword, dealing damage over time. Her menacing aura boosts ATK and terrifies nearby enemies. In battle, she focuses on finishing off weakened foes with increased ATK and lifesteal. Broken Wing Sphinx, class mage. Upon summoning a baby angel, it targets a group of enemies, dealing damage to all in range. Damage scales with its level, increasing its effectiveness. It can also fire lasers to stun foes. Teresia, class tank, provides a protective shield to all allies, deals damage and stuns nearby enemies, restores HP to the lowest HP ally, raises a shield to reduce damage taken, and becomes immune to crowd control. Heidi, class warrior, swiftly strikes all enemies in front 5 times, dealing damage. The final strike stuns, charges forward, damaging and stunning enemies in the path, boosts ATK for himself and allies with a powerful roar. Blavatsky, class mage, charms enemies in front, making them fight for your team briefly, brandishes a sword, damaging enemies and boosting allies' energy and speed, drains enemy HP and weakens their attacks while healing Blavatsky. Nuu, class warrior, Nuu summons clones to fight, but they take extra damage. She also has powerful skills like a blood spear attack and crowd control immunity. When hit by CC, she creates a clone to remove it. Finally, let's talk about SS tier. Grisette, class mage, throws a cursed doll to damage enemies multiple times, attacks the enemy with the most energy, damaging nearby enemies, curses enemies to reduce ACC and SPD, boosts allies' crit rate over time. Anku, class tank, Anku summons a pillbug to the farthest enemy, dealing AoE damage. The pillbug attacks and eventually loses HP over time. He also attacks the enemy in front multiple times, reducing their def and increasing his def in return. This effect applies to a single enemy and lasts until Anku is defeated. In battle, Anku provides a significant ATK shield to the frontmost ally. If the shield is destroyed, it damages nearby enemies. Lenore, class support. Lenore deals damage to all enemies and removes their buffs. She boosts SPD of herself and allies while debuffing enemies. Lenore casts judgment on the enemy with the highest ATK, removing them from battle temporarily. Her basic attacks deal increased damage and have added effects. Lidum, class warrior. When Lidum's HP drops below 90%, he unleashes sacred power, restoring health and attacking enemies, throws sharp metal fragments and swings his messer to deal damage to enemies in front, changes his basic attack over time, dealing damage differently, possesses the power to rewind time if he's the last one to die in battle. And then, let's talk about reroll guide. You could reroll again if you have get the character you wanna. Follow my perform, launch Heir of Light Eclipse on your device and log in as Game Center or other social media account. No guest login available. After that, complete the tutorial part. It only takes like 12 minutes to unlock the summoning system. You start with roughly 25 pulls and get free Epic Hero Scotty. In addition, you can get an Epic Hero Teresia from pre-register and other rewards. So, if you manage to get the character you want, you can fully enjoy the satisfaction of on your team. But hey, if you're not satisfied with your gacha results, don't worry, you can find the setting in the top left screen and click on account button. You will see delete account button, delete your account and reroll again. This version currently has 3 banners, the All Faction Servant banner, Dominator Faction Servant banner, and Friend Servant banner. I recommend investing all your resources into the All Faction Servant banner. Currently, the game has a pity system. In the All Faction Servant banner, if you proceed with your first 10 summons, you are guaranteed to receive an Epic Servant and also enjoy a 10% discount on the 10 summon. Overall, it's quite user-friendly. It's worth mentioning that the game has a VIP system. Accumulating a certain amount of VIP experience points will earn you corresponding rewards. If your VIP experience accumulates to 70,000, you will receive 100 special summon stone chests for random legendary gear select chests and 200 advanced refining stones for enhancing gear. For F2P players, you can reach VIP perks level 1 within the first 10 minutes of gameplay. The benefit of this is an increase in free daily PvP attempts, auto purification gold bonus, auto purification Nuu crystal bonus, and a daily quick purification increase to 2. When it comes to gacha rates, we've got a 5.2% rate for epic characters and a 45.6% rate for rare characters, easy to use epic characters so that you can progress even in the early stages of the game. A positive experience can directly influence whether you continue playing. In the early stages of the game, for F2P players, I recommend the warrior and tank classes for easier progression. What's friendly about it is that you can use the system's free Nuu as your first warrior. Nuu can summon 3 clones to fight on the battlefield, each dealing 80% of their ATK as basic attack damage and 230% of their ATK as skill damage. For the tank class, you can also utilize the system's gift, Reresia. She can grant a shield to all allies that blocks 500% of ATK damage for 10 seconds and restores 3% of max HP every second for the duration of the shield. Please note that the restoration skill unlocks at level 81. Well, the above Heir of Light Eclipse best tier list and reroll guide. I've provided timestamps in the description. If you find the video is helpful, don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you next video.